quit New York unless the governor quits a controversial millionaire's tax. But it's not just New York's problem. My next guest says these tax hikes have a tendency to spread across the country and trickle down to everyone, including you. Republican Congressman Tom Price of Georgia joins me right now. Congressman, what is your big fear when a lot of folks can't relate to the wealth of a Rush Limbaugh, of a Donald Trump, and say, well, that's them, it's not me?
Well, the big thing is class warfare. This is divide and conquer for folks who want more tax money for the federal government and for state government. And it never ends with their latest scam. This started about 10 years ago. We taxed the millionaires. And at that time, it was $1 million or more. Now the proposal that's been put on the table here in the state of New York, as you well know, isn't just for $1 million, although they call it a millionaire's tax. It gets down into the $100,000 or $200,000 level. So they aren't even being honest about what they're doing. You had the folks on about the tax tea party all across this nation on April 15th. This is huge. The American people are fed up with what they believe is a federal government that is taking their money and not getting results for it, and they're tired of it.
What if things improve? That is with the economy. The sheer force of nature would say, Congressman, that something's got to stick, right? And that everything goes through cycles, so we'll improve. The big government advocates will come back and say, well, that was the government. That was this spending. Then what?
Things may improve for the short period of time, and you're right. If you pump trillions of dollars into the economy, something's got to move up. In fact, we haven't seen the kind of movement that one would have thought with the amount of money. But that will be short-lived, because no nation in the history of mankind has ever borrowed its way out of the challenges that we face. The spending and the taxing and the borrowing is just way too much, and the American people know this in their gut. That's why they're so irate, and that's why I believe April 15th is going to be a huge...
Let me ask you this, Congressman, and I hear that point. It's echoed by a lot of smart folks like yourself. But I look at these poll numbers that even though the president's approval ratings have come down, their early overnight tracking surveys show them popping up after his tour abroad. It's not evidencing themselves in those numbers. In other words, he's still very popular. His vision not quite as popular, but it's still up there.
Well, I would suggest that this early in a president's term, a new president's term, you've never seen in this nation the kind of angst and concern that we see right now. And
Well, does that mean angst and acceptance of the kind of cures he's looking at?
I think it's angst and concern about the level of intervention that the federal government has had in so many areas. They see it in the area of the economy. We're in a political economy, not a market economy. You got politicians calling the shots. You see the concern about the health care industry. I'm a physician. To have the federal government impose itself in the health care arena, you've got concerns about that. You've got them withdrawing and pulling back on the national energy tax. There are people all across this nation who understand and appreciate that we became the greatest nation in the history of mankind because of certain principles. They'd like to see those principles continued.
All right, they call them the silent haves, the vast majority who have been paying their bills, the vast majority who have been meeting their obligations, resenting that they're going to have to bail out or correct the abuses of those who have not. But that is class warfare, is it not?
Well, they not only resent it, they know that it's wrong and that it won't solve the problem. There are wonderful solutions that are out there. We had the budget battle in Congress just this last week. As chairman of the Republican Study Committee, we put on the floor of the House a balanced budget. You didn't hear much about it, but it was the only one of 5 budgets that were put on the floor that actually balanced. That's the kind of message that we need to be getting out to the American people, that there are people fighting for them in Washington and making certain that when we come through this, and we will, we'll come through it and recognize the nation that's on the other end.
We shall see. Congressman, thank you very, very much. Just as a reminder, as the Congressman was speaking there, we told you about what the New York governor had to say about Rush Limbaugh threatening to leave the state. Go ahead. Don't let the screen door hit him on the way out.